Welcome back to Cast Me to Hell with me, Seb.
And me, Robbie.
And we continue our monster movie season with The Invisible Man 2020. We've previously done The Invisible Man some year I can't remember.
I think it's 1942 maybe. 1943, something like that.
Somewhere around
that.
We did that previously. And as we have with this season so far, we've been looking at the original kind of Universal monster movie and then comparing it with a modern adaptation of some kind with it. We've done Wolfman and we've done The Mummy. We did both of those ones with Lee Cronin's The Mummy as the comparison with one of them, not the Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Because that's what everyone's like, why did you not do that one?
That's what everybody wants.
And we did the Wolfman and we did Benicio del Toro's Wolfman, the much maligned, but we very much enjoyed.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And then we did the classic H.G. Wells episode last week.
Yeah.
And this week we're doing Leigh Whannell's take on The Invisible Man. We could have gone Hollow Man.
We could have.
But we went before we go a bit more classier.
Yeah.
A bit more recent.
A bit less rapey.
Yes.
Kind of.
I said yes far too quickly there.
You did.
Yes. So obviously, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a lovely review. And that's the cheap plug straight out of the way. So this was the last film, as we just discovered before we started recording, the last film that I saw before we went into lockdown.
Yes. Before March 2020, when we all went down.
When we all went down.
Yeah. No, like this film, obviously I hadn't seen it before. You were trying to work out who you'd seen it with, because I didn't see it with you. Who did I see this with?
Yes.
This was my first ever viewing of this film, so seeing it that way. But I'd known of it, I just never got around to actually seeing it. Like, I knew it had done very well. I knew it was pretty well received by critics and stuff like that. I knew it had done well at the box office because it only got like a couple of weeks. It only got like a couple of weeks before obviously COVID shut everything down.
Yeah.
But it still made like 140 million plus off of a 7 million budget. So that's pretty impressive considering it had to then be just released after 3 weeks on like digital because, you know, they couldn't open up anymore. So that's pretty impressive that it made that much money in such a short kind of gap of time that it kind of, I guess, in theatres, you're kind of like, oh, it actually probably could have made even more money than it did. But it already made a good amount, like, for such a small budget. And it did kind of become that, because this is like the one where they were doing, obviously, what was it, the Dark Universe.
The Dark Universe, yes.
We've mentioned before the failure of the Dark Universe, taking a cast photo with Johnny Depp and all these big stars. That was who was the original Invisible Man.
Yeah.
He was meant to be Johnny Depp before the Dark Universe failed at the hands of Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and it's wild because actually, you know, when we were watching The Mummy, I wanted to watch the Dark Universe, The Mummy. And then I was like, I watched it once before and it was so utterly forgettable.
It was.
That I can't do it again. I can't remember any scenes from it. I've seen it once I saw it in the cinema once and I just remember it being really like bland, but also being like too much, like you're trying to build a universe, kind of things like that. And it had Russell Crowe in it as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but didn't feel like a great performance by Russell Crowe there. Like, it was a very odd kind of like you've basically taken like a Tom Cruise action film, but not a good Tom Cruise action film. So we're not talking like Mission Impossible. We're talking like, I don't know, Night and Day or whatever that one was. And then you've mixed that in with, oh, by the way, he's got superpowers. Because, of course, Tom Cruise couldn't just be an everyday man fighting. They have to, at one point, give him powers. Because he has to be the most powerful man in the room. And he's definitely not the shortest person.
Definitely taller than everyone else.
Let's move on before the Scientologist.
Yes.
I kind of feel like that was a blessing in disguise, the death of the Dark Universe. It gave us that really funny picture where everybody's like, oh, this is going to be fucking class. And it never goes anywhere. But it also gave us, I mean, this version of The Invisible Man, Lee Cronin's The Mummy, and then the Wolfman that we were mixed on quite recently, another Leigh Whannell one. This film, I feel like it, when I first watched it, I thought it was fucking incredible. I remember the buzz being there for it. I remember everybody being very hyped for this.
and I've watched it maybe 2 or 3 times, and I still really enjoy it. I feel like it's one of the ones that I don't think of very often, but I think each time I watch it, I think it's great. I love that it's a lot more of a more modernised take on it. I remember kind of back pre-COVID, because this is very much a pre-COVID film, the whole idea of like a tech billionaire and like a tech bro thing, it was still there, but it was nowhere near as hated as it is now.
Yeah.
I remember the day when people thought Elon Musk was like Iron Man. You know? Like, Elon was really cool apparently, and now
it was already wearing off by that point.
Yeah,
he'd already appeared in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, he'd been
to be like, I'm basically the real life you, Tony Stark.
Yeah, and I remember people loving it, but this is very much where things started to kind of flip with it, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I love that the name of the company in this is Cobalt. You know, I feel like that's such a funny little poke at Elon.
Well, yeah, I like. I enjoyed this very much, but I think it's because this one works where if I was talking about those other two, Wolfman and the Mummy, where I don't necessarily think is the thing is this one is able to be much more grounded. And it takes it it's got a clear idea of the way it wants to tell its story and what they want the perspective to be and how they're going to make that scary and interesting. Whereas I think the only thing that's been slightly works less well with some of the other ones is they are trying to take much bigger concepts.
Yeah.
And trying to make them somewhat feel like more of that grounded world. And I think that's a lot. I think it's already proving that it's quite hard to make the very supernatural work and still trying to feel like a grounded, like family story or a grounded, like a personal story. Whereas this one, because of Elizabeth Moss, is very much led through her. Obviously, I mean that's the thing. It's the Invisible Man, and yet, like obviously, the Invisible Man is the villain. Whereas obviously in the original, the HGL ones we did, he was very much more of the kind of we followed him quite a lot of the story.
He was a bit more of a central character,
and it was all about that performance of that over the top kind of look at me with my penis hanging out.
yeah, very much.
Look at me in my in my rags upon my head and things like that. And look at me, ride my bike,
bike, my bare ass cheeks.
It was about and there was something about that mummy. The Invisible Man story, the original that we both said like there were some incredible special effects. And some amazing kind of parts of those, but in terms of the story, it kind of taking very much from the original H.G. Wells one, it somewhat kind of made it feel a little bit like limited in that kind of way. Whereas this one takes the idea of the Invisible Man, but uses it obviously in a very clever domestic abuse kind of angle.
Yeah,
which makes it feel much more personal, but also makes you have that dreading feeling of how someone can truly manipulate someone if they've got this kind of power over them. And I think that was one of the things that makes this one work so well, and obviously a lot of that does come down to Elizabeth Moss's performance as well.
Yeah, I feel like the character of the Invisible Man compared to the Mummy and compared to the Wolfman, which do have those very heavy supernatural elements, Claude Rains's Invisible Man was just a fucking nutter, you know? He was just like a mad scientist.
He was insane.
And it was that play on the kind of the mad scientist archetype character. So this feels like a very much more modernisation of it, when you've got like a tech billionaire who's just a narcissist and has access to these incredible innovations and incredible technology at his hand.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I'm trying to make a fucking invisible suit.
Well, to be fair, outside of mainly showing off the scientific areas that he's got in his mansion, and her mentioning about him being he's the main provider, like the main knowledge in the world on optics. So of course he can work out how to make himself invisible. The film doesn't really bother about even trying to explain how any of that possibly works, which is for the better.
Yeah.
Apart from like 2 throwaway lines in the film, it doesn't have a whole thing of him explaining. Here's how I made my stories, or or even having like in the original having him being like, I made this experiment. There's none of that kind of stuff.
it generally doesn't give a shit about the Invisible Man, if I'm honest, including the actor playing him. It's just kind of, you're there.
Yeah, you're there.
You're here to be... Because there was always a part of me that I thought I remembered a bigger actor, and I think that's because of the Dark Universe. I was thinking Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
And I was like, so why then didn't they, having not seen this film, I was like, I'm surprised they went with a guy who, was mainly known for, like, The Haunting of Hill House on, like, Netflix or, things like that. Like, he hadn't been in a lot of stuff. I was like, why did they not go for a bigger actor? And I was like, oh yeah, this is why. Because he's barely in the film.
Yeah, it's just a man in a weird suit.
Most of the time he's replaced by a floating knife.
Yeah, it's just CGI.
Or things like that. Apart from in those scenes when he's, like, obviously maybe in the costume, which again may not even be the actor in there.
Probably not.
Mainly it's just his voice occasionally and the scene towards the end. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's the Invisible Man, but that's also what makes it very, like, work so well, because it is this constant. And you as the thing, and I bet, to be fair, this would have been really good.
Oh, it was fucking amazing in the cinema.
Like, this would be one of those ones I'd be like to see a thing, because this takes the frights you can get with a supernatural, like, possession-y horror.
Yeah.
In many ways, the way that you're always looking out for things to happen, but because it makes it grounded in the idea of someone who's just there. It makes it scary without having to so much feel like you're making a leap of, like, some kind of. That some supernatural ones make you feel like you've got to leap to get to it. Here it feels oddly like this is a very real concept, and here we are with someone who's literally toying with your entire life and fucking with your head completely. But some of the scenes in this, I was just like, and I'm sure I missed probably plenty.
Maybe,
upon watching them. But some of them, I was literally just looking out to be like, right, where is this fucker? Like, where is he? I probably wasn't paying attention to what Elizabeth Moss was doing. Going like, what's in that background?
Yeah.
Did that light just flicker, or is that just a light flicker?
Yeah. And
I'm just watching a sofa cushion. Be like, I'm not really watching the film. I'm watching to see if an ass print appears.
Yeah, what if I see a ball print?
Yeah.
Which is it is a shame that we spoke about the original Invisible Man, where it just clicks sometimes that he's just bollock naked, and he's just running around up to no good, just with his cock out.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel like this film, it doesn't have any of that that stuff. Now it's just very sinister.
Yeah. Because of the suit, which is pretty cool looking thing, to be fair. The suit
the suit's freaky as fuck.
Yeah, it is kind of cool, and it has that kind of odd, somewhat kind of like looks at times like it's kind of like that webbed kind of like you've got with the bandages, but he's more covered over his optics. But yeah, there's no little pouch where he obviously lets his willy out. There's none of that. We can safely say that she was fine from him just suddenly like resting his balls on it.
Strangely smells of ass in this particular area. Yeah,
that's just what he was doing. Yes, he needs the suit and he needs full body coverage. If he opens it up, you just see his ass,
just a floating ass moving around. The one thing I like about the film is that the way in which it plays with sound. Large chunks of it, there's nothing, and it really does build the suspense of, as you're saying, you're thinking like, is somebody actually there? In a lot of like modern films, we do the whole protagonist staring at something.
Yeah,
and I sometimes think like I wonder about the effectiveness of that. But in this film, I think it does work great.
Yeah,
you're wondering like, is he fucking there? When she gets up,
is he not there? Is she over in her head kind of thing? And it does let you feel that for a while, where she almost starts to think things until we properly see like a bed sheet come off of her. All right, so someone's definitely pulling that off you.
But even at those times, you're thinking like, where is he? The bed sheet pulls off, and then she gets up, and there's like the mannequin over her, which is a cool scene. Yeah. And then she goes over to the chair, and you're like, can I see like an ass imprint there? Is somebody sat there?
Yeah.
But he's not, and like there's times where you do find yourself thinking like, where is he? When she puts all the coffee on the floor, and she's backed up, and you're looking at the door, and you're not sure.
Not sure.
I love how they do how that's.
I think that's the bit like it does allow plenty of time for like those scenes to breathe, to be enough that you're like,
okay, I've been waiting a while now. Is anything actually going to happen? Like, but then there's that kind of idea that if you give them that longevity in that scene, like it gets to the point when you're like, okay, I feel like nothing's actually going to happen here, and it's like, but don't let down your guard. Like my body doesn't want to suddenly stop because that's when they'll get me, kind of thing, you know. And no, the effectiveness you said about sound works really, especially in. I really like the kitchen scene.
Yeah.
When she's making the food, and then she walks off, and the first time you see that knife float in the air, kind of thing, like go off and go down away, like taken away by something.
Yeah.
And then you see the stove, and you can hear the sound because it is pretty much quiet. So you hear the kind of swishing of the knife.
Yeah.
But you don't really hear like the stamping of feet and stuff. And then you see the stove suddenly go up, and you hear the noise of the stove increasing as that happening, and you're just watching this going down like, oh shit, she's not even noticing what is going to happen here. But it's all the fact that it is all these little things that make you like you would probably 100% question in yourself is the other clever part of it. They thought really carefully about like what are things that in your general life that you would just do and be like, did I do that?
Did I do that?
Did I not do that? You know, how did I? Am I seeing things like the mannequin in the room? You know, how did that bed sheet get off? Did I just see something capture that? Was that in my head?
Yeah.
Did I leave the stove on too hot? Did I, you know, where did I put the knife? You know, all these things are like that you'd start to, and that's what shows this real manipulation that we get. You know, like from that opening scene when we see her escaping to him.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's very cool. Like the setup of that, like. It's not so much that we see the abuse, but we get to very much understand the abuse through the way that you can see how he's fucking with her. And it's like, there's many things you could have done like way earlier, but instead you've decided to spend days just hanging around. You know what I mean? Like literally just prolonged time, just like, I'm just standing here, just watching you.
Even that opening scene, like the desperation to like drug him, and then to just leave in the night. And then the bit where, you know, she gets picked up by, I think, her sister.
Her sister, yeah.
And you're just like, this guy's got to be a fucking asshole. And then he just, like, runs towards...
Yeah, and just smashes his hand.
Smashes in. And I was thinking, fucking hell. Yeah. Like, I mean, if somebody calls you and it's like, you need to pick me up now, you're probably like, all right, I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to try and have a conversation with you in the area, you know?
You're not like, alright,
what's going on?
Nah, and I'm sleeping.
Yeah, I'm sleeping. Like,
you deal with it in the morning.
Yeah, come, deal with it. Just, you know, knuckle
What do you
down.
mean you'll be dead in the morning? You're being a bit dramatic.
Yeah, you're being a bit dramatic. Come on. You know, classic old school dealing with any kind of woman's problem, you know?
Yeah.
Just do that. Sideshow, side note, I saw like a clip, and it was from like the 70s, and they were investigating, like 4 police officers investigating this woman who said that she was assaulted, and it's just fucking horrendous, you know? They're literally just like, well, if something happened, why didn't you come and say to us? And well, you went home to your boyfriend, and if your boyfriend didn't say anything, what would you have done? She's like, maybe left it. Well, you would have left it then, wouldn't you? Fucking terrible. It's awful. Don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it. It's fucking
just tell them
terrible.
about a clip they don't want to watch.
Yeah, because
just gaslighting the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Until she's like, there's nothing to report.
There's nothing to report.
Yeah.
But it felt fitting given the context
with the
of
context of this, because this film very much is that weird kind of using horror, which obviously is very modern, like sort of done very well in the last, you know, since a little while before this film, to be fair, but definitely since this film, we've had a huge of using like social, not that they weren't always there, but it feels like we're very much lens on focusing on how do we make horror that feels true to real world and real life, and what are the contexts of the life around us that actually are truly scary and things like that. And there's a lot of social, political kind of horror now kind of thing that is out there. But this one does, with that kind of domestic abuse storyline, it does work really well, and it feels like it's been very carefully created. I know Leigh Whannell wrote and directed it all kind of thing, but definitely feels as though with Elizabeth Moss, he definitely tried to create some kind of an idea together of what, you know, because I know she was added on quite early on to the project. Like, it seemed like they were trying to create quite a clear idea of what it is like, and it feels like the focus never goes too much away that it goes so over dramatic that it still takes away from that
social message that it's trying to give at the same time, of the way that everything that he does in this, yes, it's an invisible man doing it, but it's every part of it is still stuff that you can completely see that how people go through that all the time. Like, that's kind of interesting with this, is that you look at it and go, well, that's making her feel insane, but people do that in non-invisible man ways to make people feel like, oh, you forgot that, didn't you, or why didn't you do this, or gaslighting people into feeling the way that they are questioning their own sanity is done quite often. It's one of the, it's also the fact that domestic abuse in this case is not always the idea of people always think, well, you're not got any bruises, like, you're alright, aren't you? Like, it's like, no. It's like, they won't let me leave my house, they won't let me, I remember when I was a kid and we used to go over to this friend of my mum's house, and I remember being like that, and I remember being like, why do we always go to her house but she never comes to ours, and why do we have to go to that? And it wasn't until I was a little bit older that mum was like, her husband, literally, if she left her house, he would just beat the shit out of her.
Fucking
like, literally that. Like, if she left the house, like, she wouldn't leave the house. So I went to her because of that, and even then, that was still risky. I was like, cheers for taking me there.
Perfect place to take a chance.
Lovely. But yeah, that was the kind of situation it is. But you may not even recognise. I was just a kid, to be fair, but again, lots of people probably still wouldn't recognise that this is the case. Not. It's just like, oh, she just never wants to go out.
Yeah,
she just always wants to stay home. You know what I mean? And it's that you have in this film with her friends, where they're looking at her and going, fucking hell, she's going insane, isn't she? She's mad.
Well, that's what I really like about the first act of the film, is very much establishing the pattern of abusers, where they're like, start isolating people, start cutting them off.
Yeah.
So, for instance, when she goes to the job interview and he's taken her portfolio and has spiked her with diazepam.
Yeah.
When he sends the email to her sister being like, I fucking hate you.
I fucking hate you. Wish you were dead.
Yeah, wish you were dead. Like, don't contact me. All of that kind of stuff to start laying the groundwork of like, she's mental. And then he goes to her, his brother, Adrian's brother. And she says, like, I think he's got a fucking optic suit.
Yeah.
I think he's found a way of kind of doing something with me. There's this really, like, subtle nod that I love, where the brother lawyer, when she says, I think, like, somehow he's found a way of kind of continuing to me, he's built this optic suit. Yeah. He, like, flashes a look at her friend, the cop. And it's so subtle to be like, she's a fucking nutter.
Yeah,
it's something that I think is great. And the bits where he like hits the mate's daughter, just kind of drives that wedge between them. I think is fucking such a good first act.
I love that bit when it is literally like that, like you're just watching her and just suddenly just gets smacked in the face and you're like, fuck yeah, all right. Like I love in the first act especially. I really liked those little details before he was more like shown fully.
Yeah,
kind of thing, like just that stuff, like her walking outside and having a breath, and then next
I was about to say
breath.
That. I remember watching that in cinema.
I think that's the first one
where
I was like,
proper confirmation,
like that if someone he's there, kind of thing.
Yeah,
obviously.
If
you walked into the film, fucking hell, I didn't know there was going to be an invisible man in the Invisible Man.
Yeah, what's this man doing?
What's this man?
Why can't I see him? But yeah, I remember being in the cinema, and you're waiting for that to happen.
Yeah,
you're just waiting.
Yeah, you're waiting to be like, come on. You can see her breathing, so you're like,
yeah.
Where's it coming from? And then it finally does, and and then again, you can't stop there looking like, where's the rest of them?
Yeah,
where's the other breath?
Yeah, where's the rest of it?
I kept on suspecting every time there was like a shadow or steam or things like that of seeing like an image of a face or something like that.
That's a bit Hollow Man, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But that's what I mean. But that's why I kept on expecting it. But he's actually quite restrained. I actually think on some of it, like it's. A lot of people, I think, maybe would have shown more of those like little clips, but he only shows it very enough that you start questioning whether you've seen it, which is again reflecting that kind of in the film idea in your head of like she's questioning it, and now I'm starting to question it. Is that something? Is that something? You're fucking with my brain now.
That's like the masterstroke of the film, because like as much I love Hollow Man, I think it's a fucking banging film, but it's a bit more like. Let's show our late 90s.
That's the one when you're hanging down.
They're just fucking hanging down.
In my head, I'm pretty sure. I feel like there's a scene where it's just Kevin Bacon just invisible, but there's a dong.
It's just
And that's
dong.
not real, but that's like that, you know, like
I think
what's
it actually is.
that Sinbad
yeah.
effect or whatever.
Yeah. the Mandela effect.
The Mandela effect.
Did you or did you not
Did
see
you or
Kevin
did you not?
Spacey's
Kevin
dong?
Spacey's dong invisible.
Yeah, did he hang dong?
The rest of him is invisible, but there's a dong just floating.
It's just a
through
dong,
the air. That's
yeah.
Hollow Man.
That's Hollow Man. So yeah, I feel like the Hollow Man is definitely like, let's use the CGI a bit more. Let's
Yeah,
do
yeah.
stuff like you can see the rain on him. You can see like his outline in the air vent, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Whereas this does have the restraint to be like, actually, is he there? Like, where the fuck is he?
Yeah.
And most of that happens kind of up until the attic scene, which I still remember seeing in the cinema. And it's amazing. You know, she calls his mobile.
The phone vibrating on the
Phone
roof.
vibrates. I remember people like gasping, like, "Oh fucking hell!"
Yeah,
You
where
know?
is he? When's he coming? Yeah. It's
And then,
it's a very good scene when she gets up there and she finds the phone, and then she's like, well, where the fuck is he? And then she finds the knife. And
Yeah.
straight away, when she picks... I'm not going to lie there. When she picks up that bag with the knife and then takes the knife out of the bag, and I'm just like... I know it's a sign of protection, but I feel like that was the first time I was like, this feels like it's about to be used as something that's going to go against you.
well,
And it doesn't happen then.
No.
But it still happens. But I was like, it feels like you're building your own thing. Like I was half expecting her to go down and accidentally stab the
Yeah.
wrong person, or so it was going to happen with it. I was like, you're going to get framed for this, which does happen.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen in this scene.
no. But what does happen is, you know, when he sneaks, he's kind of at the base of the ladder.
Yeah.
And I remember watching this thinking, oh, she's got to throw it. And like right at the bottom, he's going to be there. But
Yeah.
he's so close.
Yeah.
Such a good scene. You know?
Splashed him with paint.
Splashes him with paint.
I was surprised how quickly the paint went away though. That was my one little
Well,
thing. I was like,
I've
she
just
got
been painting, as you can tell, and fucking paint gets everywhere.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. Like, it seems very easy that like someone to. There's a fucking bloke half paint around.
There's a half
like,
paint.
the paint seems to be gone very quickly. Like, I don't know how he washed that off so fast. It's more like milk than it is
Yeah,
paint.
my God, that man's covered in cum. What's he doing? He's like Casper
Well, because it was the same
Ghost.
thing. Like the paint was all splattered all over the floor, so I was
Yeah.
expecting to see footprints of it, but there wasn't any kind of thing. I was like, that's fair. I was like, okay. I feel like,
Yeah.
I feel like that was a little bit too like easy.
A little bit.
For the Invisible Man. I mean, not for her, because this is now like, where the fuck's he gone now? He should be covered in paint.
Yeah, it should be covered in paint. But they do have the cool fight.
Yeah.
That, you know, CGI.
Yeah.
She fights the air, gets fucking bad. Like
Thrown up against a wall, smashed over a table.
he's strong.
Yeah, he is. Don't know if that suit has some
I don't think so. I think
strength based. He's just a strong man.
he's just strong.
Yes.
Fucking hates her.
Yeah,
You know, just batters her. But it's a great scene.
it
you
is
know?
cool. Yeah,
It's really cool.
it is a really good scene. It has a lot of those. I think there's a lot of elements in this in terms of, you know, between her friendship and between her relationship, obviously with him, and then obviously you've got the brother and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But it's also very restrained in terms. It feels like. I like the way that it pursues the plot in terms of one, making her feel insane, making her separated from everyone else, and generally continuing to, even when she's fully aware of it, still making her question everything around her and everyone who kind of what was right, what is real, and the fact that she's so set on it being him, that everything has to be him, that obviously that kind of starts to also make her look a bit like. There's a part where even I think as the audience you start to question whether she is almost too like invested in that idea of who it could be, why it. There's parts when you're like you're actually possibly making more damage for yourself the way that you're like so blatantly like it has to be him. Like her mind has gone way out of it being like I'm not going to be like I'm not going to make an argument that may slowly reveal him to everyone else. No, I'm just fucking going for it like balls to the wall.
I mean, who else is it going to be? Let's be honest. Like she's been
The brother.
she's been systematically abused by him for like 3 or 4 years, and then he dies, and it's just some random guy who finds an invisible suit, and it just turns out it's like the ultimate subversion where they're like, oh no, it's him, and it's like, who's this guy?
Yeah, that's it. Don't know.
Some stranger,
Some random
came off the
guy.
street. Yeah,
It's the dog.
it's the dog. And then we got a suit on the invisible dog.
Invisible dog to get her.
Yeah, but no, I feel like the bit where she then goes to his house and she finds the suit.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a cool reveal. It's a like we see it. We do see the bit of the suit where when the paint gets covered in it.
Yeah.
But the actual suit itself, the reveal where she goes into that room and she sees something hanging. She sees like the computer screen, and then she reveals it.
The big honeycomb suit.
Yeah, it's like at some points it looks like it's just like eyes, which is creepy.
Yeah.
It's like this, like a weird gimp suit. Like I feel like when I feel like this film was announced, because I remember hearing about it, and I remember hearing, the guy from Saw is making an Invisible Man adaptation, and one of the main themes is going to be like domestic abuse. I remember thinking, well, the original was like a mad scientist, which was quite wacky. But
he was like drawn to his love, the woman that he pursued anyway in many ways.
But this is 1940s pursued and loved. You mean
so if you're being abused, that just means you're loved.
That just means you're loved. And you go into like a bookstore and you find someone and you go, yeah, you're my wife now. That's how it works, And then I feel like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen had an Invisible Man in it. But that Invisible Man was yet again, I'm slightly eccentric. I'm going to get my balls out.
Wrapped in bandages.
Yeah. And then Johnny Depp, who at this time was still one of the kings of cool. And it was kind of like Johnny Depp's just finished with Captain Jack Sparrow. His Invisible Man's going to be like a weird, eccentric scientist.
I mean, 100% would.
100%.
You were just waiting for it to be like, Tim Burton's going to direct this.
Tim Burton's directing it. He's got to shag Penelope Cruz. He's got to have some sexy woman
with his wife Helen Bonham Carter. That's what's going to happen.
And he's going to be really cool and slightly troubled, not too troubled that you think he's weird, not too eccentric that you think he's weird, but he's going to be just the right amount of either.
That you can slightly love him.
You can slightly love him,
Yeah.
But instead, they do this weird kind of like domestic abuser. And I feel like the idea of having this suit is a really, really kind of interesting take on it. I kind of lost where I was going.
I wasn't sure where you were going. I was just joining you for that. I was like, I'm not sure what the point was there.
I think the point... I lost my train of thought. About 20 seconds of talking. I think I was talking about when she finds the suit.
Yeah.
And how creepy it is, and how that's a really good modern interpretation, and how I think the other ways have shown it.
Yeah,
it all comes around after a little while.
I mean, the film also holds back quite well on because you do feel at many points, as I said about the build up before, the way they make her feel insane and stuff like that. But there's also the case of how it's very easy for this kind of film to be like, so we can just start fucking killing people. Yeah, nobody knows. I could just walk down the supermarket and just crack necks. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he doesn't, because you're there with him, the friend, the cop, and stuff like that, and you're just like, so when's he gonna just fucking off this? And when's he gonna, kill this guy? Even if I do think the cop gets a little bit of plot armor in this film, as if he's too nice to the guy that is you're not actually gonna kill this dude, are you? This dude's not gonna die. It feels like he would be someone that the abuser definitely 100% would have killed early.
100%.
He would have been off. He's a fucking cop. He's a thing. He's a big ass guy. I'm gonna fucking just quickly shove a knife in his neck or something. I'll kill him in the night. Just because he's going to be a pain in my ass. Yeah. He definitely feels like if anyone was going to die earlier in this film, it would have been that dude that just would have been in the middle of the night. Instead of it being smacking her and the kid in the face, it would have just been by the way, little girl, she just smothered your dad in the other room.
Yeah.
Something like that, you know what I mean? Something like that. But yeah, he's the only one I thought had a real plot armor to him that even later on when he's getting beaten up, I was like, so when's the knife going in, or when's he cracking his neck or thing? But it was just beating his ass down.
Maybe he should have cracked his neck. That'd have been
cool. But it doesn't happen because he is the kind, helpful friend who is the father figure as well. So he can't then take the daughter's daddy away as well. You know, well, I think it is the point.
the only actual death I think in it is the sisters, which is fucking amazing. And apart from the sisters
and a bunch of the guards in there.
I don't think many of them die.
Do they not die?
I don't think they. We'll get to that when we get to it. But the sisters' death, I remember being so fucking shocked at that in the
Yeah.
cinema.
It's
It was
awesome.
amazing.
I think also because the sister seems a little bit more like, well, I know he doesn't like her, but also like I'm not sure whether she is going to fall into the category of dies kind of thing. She's not here enough.
Yeah.
So then finally they get back together just for one scene. But I think it is because they're in this setting that's so unexpected
Exactly,
for that
yeah.
to be the scene.
And we are so conditioned to it being like all
Secluded.
Everything that's happened in this film has been secluded. And generally speaking, when you're watching films, like nobody gets killed or attacked in public. It doesn't often happen, which is why when it does happen, it's like, oh fucking hell! Like Randy's death just sprung to mind.
Yeah.
These kind of like really shocking
Catch you out of
moments,
nowhere.
catch you out of nowhere. And then this one where they make, they're in like a.
I was more thrown off by the. You say calf?
I say calf. Yeah. We're at a restaurant.
I was more thrown off by the fact that they were having this reunion conversation, and the sister's really like pissed off, obviously, because she got a letter of basically death threat from her sister, but also at the same time she's really pissed off at the waiter who's like, but at the same time I'm also there like, why the fuck did you choose such a fancy ass restaurant to do this meal? Like, this feels like a really fancy place for the person who's like looks mentally kind of out of it, like she is, and for the reunion. This feels more like something you do in like a cafe, or in America a diner or something.
Diner,
it's more of a booth conversation, not like here we are in the middle of the Ritz, and we're gonna have this conversation about how I fucking sent you this crazy ass letter and how my husband's still trying to abuse me from the dead and things like that. But that's the location they choose. And then she's getting pissed off the way. And I'm like, to be fair, you chose the wrong place to come.
And also, you want to eat,
I want to eat. I don't want whatever you're going to serve me that's deconstructed fun.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Like you're having this conversation. You want to go and you want to have this over a cup of coffee, or something very easy at a cafe. If you want to go to a fancy place, you want to eat.
You want to actually, you're tucking into that meal. The conversation's happening in a bit, but at the same time, be like, I'm savouring every bite because this is costing me. This
like
bite is $200.
This is £200
right here.
And now I'm going to apologise to you for a letter I didn't send and do this, but I also want to enjoy this meal. It's expensive. Choose your time.
It literally is like that. Like they've chosen I just found it the weirdest place to be like that. I was like, effective for the scene, the look of it, and the way that people react.
Beautifully shot.
I'm not saying this would look. If this was then set in a diner, I'm not sure it would feel quite. This happens every week, right? Everyone in the diner just like, all right, it's another one. But here it's the fancy people who don't tend to see someone's throat being sliced open.
No,
but it is like fuck. Like the way it just suddenly it's just a sudden, but it's the way it's that sudden, quick, real flick of a knife, and the fact that it's so sudden that in her hand she takes it in her hand. She doesn't even fight it. It just goes. And that's another very good effect of the sound. Because it just goes. You hear like the background noise, of the restaurant kind of thing. But apart from that, for a moment, it kind of goes very almost very quiet because all you hear is that slice into the hand, and then she's just like, "What the fuck happened?" Like so quick that she doesn't even take it in what's actually happened until she's kind of stepped away from it, and then she's like, "Fucking hell! Wait, my sister's dead."
And you see her sister like looking at her, listening, nodding her head, and then she like looks to her left a little bit, and she's like puzzled. And then we get the shot of Elizabeth Moss and the knife, like, just there.
She doesn't even notice the knife. It's the sister who noticed the knife, like, what the fuck?
So fucking good.
It's
so
wild.
And you're so caught off guard. You just don't expect this to happen. I remember people, like, really kicking off in the cinema. Like, we have a lot of American listeners, and our cinemas are what you'd expect from a British cinema. Like 90% of the time, it's people just like sat in silence. 10% of the time, people trying to fight. That's happened in our viewing of Obsession. But people were like shocked. People were gasping at this. It was so good.
It's good. You don't get it very often. It's nice when you get damn COVID. It's nice when you get a kind of a theatre that's actually for the people that are like invested at the same time in like a film. Like sadly doesn't happen that often. Now
no,
we get certain films where like we'll go in and be like
there's like 50% of the seats are filled. That's pretty damn good now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's sadly, that like very rarely I think have we walked in, or if I walked into a cinema recently where I'd be like, this is full. This is sold out.
Yeah.
Like, very rarely has that ever happened, kind of thing. But it's nice to have that effect. Although, Americans, I still remember being in a cinema when I went, and at the end of it, you clapping, which I just found weird as hell.
That's
just to
weird.
say, I understand, like, when people's reactions, like, oh my god, wow, yeah, oh shit, ah. That's exactly what should happen. But clapping for a screen, no, the director can't hear you.
No, they can't.
It's not like in the theatre. Like it's the weirdest thing I know that I'm sure that maybe not all of you do this, but it's definitely a thing that I know is a thing in America.
Where were you? Were you in Florida?
I was in Florida. Maybe that's why.
That's
I hear they're backwards.
Yeah, there's a lot of meth.
Meth and crocodiles.
Meth and crocodiles, the two things.
That's it.
Mix.
And old people.
And old people. Yeah.
But yeah, so I was going to say, I don't know if it was just old people who thought they were in a theatre. But I was enjoying Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. This was 2002. This was a long time ago.
They think all of that's at the theatre.
Yes. Yes. Those special effects, that Yoda is amazing, flipping around.
God, I got all those troopers.
How did they fit them on the
Yeah, they
stage?
fit them on that little stage there.
Yes. Anyway, tangent over. So yeah, that scene's amazing. To be fair, the only bit that I found, this was the only time when I thought at times maybe I was like, I felt, because I was a bit, when I saw that this film was like over 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I feel like this is, in the way I was watching it, I was like, I feel like, how are we stretching this to nearly, like, I got to the point where I was like, it feels like we're getting to the, like, this is now going to lead to a culmination event of the ending. I was like, fucking hell, I'm an hour in. Like, I thought, oh my god, what is going to happen in the next hour? The only thing I'd say is I do think that it's slightly long for the kind of thing. I like it, but this scene when she gets like taken off to the thing, I like the fact that the cops and stuff are like, in a way that you know, that we're showing the angle of like how they're reacting to it. But it just feels again like we're getting more scenes of people just not believing her and her just ranting and raving and things like that. And I feel like this is my only thing of that. If there was a part of the scene where I feel like you could have just cut straight to her on the run. I would have lived without this kind of the whole taking her to prison, dragging her off to that.
I like that bit. You know, I like the bit where she's in jail and they tell her that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And she very much says that she's going to like kill herself with the pen to trick him. Yeah. And then she stabs him.
Yeah. I like the bit when he pops back in and we get like a full on like him. I like the fight bit with her where they're like escaping.
I like the escape.
/ there's like the escape, but there's also a feeling of like he's trying to help her escape. Like it feels like he's not trying to contain her. He wants her to kind of get free.
Well, I think he wants to. I think eventually, because he's been so damaged and the suit's flickering, which is a really cool effect.
Yeah.
It's that he doesn't want to be exposed, you know, so he's trying to run. My only thing is, like, I come up to a bit that I don't know if I feel like it's a plot hole, is that I don't think he kills any of the guards. I feel like he knocks them out.
Maybe he does. It was very quick. I remember seeing blood flying though at certain points, but I don't know if he's knocking them out.
But I don't think he kills all of them. I feel like he knocks like most of them out. And then He has a gun, obviously, at a certain point. Yeah, he has a gun.
To be fair, the guy that he shoots in that scene outside, he doesn't kill.
No, he doesn't kill him.
He maims him.
He electrocutes the guy with the stun baton, which I don't think would kill him. He cracks one guy in the head and against the wall.
At least in film rules, this wouldn't kill them.
Yeah.
In normal rules in life, they probably
maybe
when that guy falls back and just bumps his head on a wall, dead.
Yeah, he just dies.
We are fragile beings.
Yeah,
but in a film, our skulls are made of titanium.
Yeah, whereas in real life, they're like eggshells.
Yeah,
can't be touched. Yeah, and then there's the guy who he shoots in the leg. Yeah. I don't know if he shoots him again, but I don't know if he shoots him to kill. Because this is a movie, you could be shot like 8 times in the chest and be fine. And then there's a woman, and I think he just smacks her. So I feel like he doesn't kill many of them.
Yeah.
And then it makes me think like, okay, the survivors are definitely going to be like, watch the CCTV. There is an invisible man out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that makes me think that like there's a potential plot hole later, or whether I'm like, well, they're so rich that they're just going to pay off, and it's just going to get swept under the rug, whatever happens.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I
don't know.
I
think there's definitely enough evidence of this dude being like an invisible man at certain points where you're like, yeah, this definitely isn't just her. I feel like if anyone saw, I mean, with the friends, they make it up because as soon as he hits the door, he's kind of out of the way kind of thing. So I feel like if certain points, if he'd come back into the house or certain things, I know he'd be like, what the fuck happened to my house? But I feel like there's also probably enough evidence they'd be like, this wasn't just her kind of thing. As a cop, kind of, he would have noticed like, this isn't just her. There's something else happening here. But with this scene especially, there's no way that's not caught on like a million different cameras that they're throwing all over the freaking place.
Yeah.
And then that. But I guess they do quite quickly, because obviously this is her escaping, they do quite quickly move on to the fact that she's, driving off back to, kind of back
save
to
her friend.
save her daughter, save the friend's daughter, and be like, shit, we need to get back to there kind of thing.
And that's another cool scene, where she's on the bed and then like the doors open and she just pepper sprays him.
Yeah.
That's super cool. And then the dad comes in and he gets fucking battered. I always thought that he got his neck snapped as well for some reason. I feel like it's just the natural thing to happen.
I felt like the only thing I did find about this fight with the two guys was one that I thought that yes, he'd find an easy way to end the dad quite easily, like with having the invisible suit. But on the flip side of that, I also feel that once you're in a proper scrap with someone, even if they're invisible, I still feel in this case that he would feel some kind of a presence. Like he can feel when he's grabbing him or hitting him. I feel like this big ass dude, I know that he's also shown that he's very strong, but this other dude is obviously very strong as well. The cop is obviously, he's fucking built.
He's built.
Like, so when he's getting knocked about, it feels very much like it should be easier for him to be able to grab him, because he grabs at the air like that as if the dude's nowhere near him, and then suddenly, like, the next second he's close enough that he's able to, like, grab him by the throat.
I think you could.
You're right there, and I think there's more he could have done to fight back against him. But as I said, I think that dude's got plot armor anyway, because he gets beat up just enough to, like, knock out on the floor. Like, he's willing to slit the sister's throat, but he's not willing to get the one dude that's really amazing. Like, he should have, like, broke his neck or killed him in some other way, really. Yeah. But I feel like because of the story and the coming back over it and him being the closest friend and the daughter and stuff like that, it gives him the plot armor that this dude ain't dying.
Maybe.
Kind of thing. And I thought that from early in the film. I was like, that's the dude I'd kill straight away. And then I was like, once they got out of the house and it was the daughter stuff, I was like, he's not dying. And it kind of went through that. That's the only, he's the one character who I'm like, he was good, but he's definitely got a weird, like, he was the most obvious one that should have died.
Yeah, but I feel like him getting battered was fine. Yeah. Because I feel like if you gave someone an invisible suit, they could probably batter most people because of just
they could because of that, but I'd say more with like action or having a weapon to like beat the shit out of someone and things like that. Like, but I think just hand-to-hand combat, I think there's lots of ways that he should have been able to hold or feel or grab something.
But he doesn't hit by gets it. Surprise as well. You got to remember that. And then also you've got to calculate. Imagine.
I'm not gonna lie. I also think that I know the daughter is very scared, but I think that most girls of what she is about, I don't know, 15, 16. No, actually, she's older than that because she's going to college. Most people, if their dad's being beaten the shit out by an invisible person, would leg it over and be like, try to at least grab him, but she just sits there.
But then you've got to think like, imagine one moment. You have no concept of the Invisible Man, and then a split second later, the Invisible Man is kicking you in the head. Like, you'll take a second to be like, "What?" You don't realise.
I get that. I get that, but I just mean like the fight goes on long enough that I feel like most people would step in like some way, even if it was just grab or walk up to him or grab him or like.
Tried.
And also, by this point, I feel like even then it's like go and grab a bag of flour.
Yeah.
Which is obviously she walks in with an extinguisher, to blast him with it kind of thing. But
yeah.
I just feel like when it's at the point when, Daddy looks like he's being beaten to death on the ground and bleeding more and more blood splattering around. Maybe this is the point when I think a lot of like people or children also would have a kind of fight or flight response in many ways. I know we're going with flight, but I think she would have had more of a fight and she would have gone up to hit him or knock him off or something to kind of help.
Well, I just thought
But
if you
essentially
got
just there crying.
attacked by an invisible man now.
You would run.
Well, I mean, obviously, but I would get the cat litter and I'd throw that, and I just thought I'd be covered
Just
you
the
with
pebbles
piss and shit. You'd be getting beaten by an invisible
Beating my
man.
ass.
We'd be both beating you up.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
But after watching this film, I now walk around with pockets full of flour.
Just in case, yeah.
Just in case I need to reveal someone.
Yeah, pocket sand, just in case,
There you are.
Yeah.
Here's some water, here's some sand. You're stuck.
You're stuck. Yeah. I've got you, tech billionaire.
Is that a knife? I have water and sand. Far.
Yeah, I've got water. I've got sand.
It did nothing to you.
Yeah. I like that it's the brother. I like the little twist where she guns him down, and then it turns out that it's his brother. Although what I always haven't liked is that as soon as the brother dies, they're like, we found him, locked in a basement. And yet again, I don't know whether this is me, whether the whole point is that because he's a tech billionaire, he can be like, I'll just pay people to say that I died.
Yeah.
Pay all of this and just sweep it under the rug. But I'm always like, but what about the person who's like, oh yeah, he committed suicide. Yeah, I burnt his body. I did all of that.
Yeah.
I always feel like that's the point.
Yeah, we're just going with it was covered up by
them.
The brother bit's not. We don't really get an explanation though for the brother,
Right.
like how they're working together or they not work. Like
I think they're working together.
They're working together to do this, just to fuck with her life.
Basically.
I just don't get the stake of the brother in this whole thing. Like,
well,
it doesn't that part. Like, I was like, at the time, I was like, well, I don't think he's actually dead. So I was like, are we going with the more like horror-y, he's going to get back up even though he's got 4 bullets in him, or is it not going to be him and it wasn't him? But then I was just like, I know we have it in the film, but it's the brother that says it, that he manipulates people into doing what he wants.
Yeah. So I think maybe
so it's kind of that he's done in the same way that he can use the money against his brother or things like that he's doing this for him. But there's a lot of shit his brother does for someone who's like not got any real stake in the fact that if this was for like, we're about to make a multi-million-dollar deal, and if we take over this company by fucking with the entrepreneur or whatever, we'll get all this money and we'll be rich. But instead it's just like, I'm just going to fuck with the woman that I'm obsessed with. You want to help?
Well, it's when the baby comes in, because we get the conversation when they're in the psychiatric hospital.
Yeah.
And he says to Elizabeth Moss, the brother lawyer is like, because you've committed a crime and because you've done this, it gives me no pleasure to say you don't receive any money anymore. Your mate's kid isn't going to get anything. We'll close that bank account. There is an option that if you go back to him and you keep the baby, that all of this can go away. So you can tell he's clearly very powerful. So that's my thing, is that he then said to the brother, like, you take the invisible suit, make sure that she doesn't do anything, and let me know what she says. And then he intervenes. And then obviously he's like, well, my brother died. He chained me up in the basement.
He locked me up in here.
But this also brings to mind my problem with the ending, where Elizabeth Moss says that she'll go back to Adrian, and she has her mate, I think it's James, I think his name is, listening in, and she says like, you have to be honest about what you did. If we're going to restart all of this fresh, then you need to be honest. You have to be truthful. And he continues to deny it. But I think when he says, like, surprise, it's a very clear indication that he was doing it. So she sneaks off to get the invisible suit that she stashed earlier. Yeah. And she makes him, like, it looked like he killed himself on the cameras.
Slices his throat, it's very cool.
And then she calls the police and she's like...
screaming and wailing and, oh my God, he's dead.
And it's great. I like it. I think it's quite a fitting ending for him. I think it's great when Elizabeth Moss kind of steps out of the CCTV camera and then just like drops, and it's just like watching him die. Yeah. That's cool. But for me, I'm always like, well, if you've now established that there's like an invisible man, won't the people who watch the CCTV footage be like, you step out and it looks like he resists himself?
Yeah.
Are you the invisible woman?
I mean, to be fair, we even see the camera thing, and I know she's stepping back, but she breaks just like the fight, like her face breaks back into normal away from crime, like in the last 2 seconds as she steps away. But the thing is, to be fair, it doesn't reveal if she actually gets away with it.
I think she gets away with it.
I think there's enough evidence that there's no way she's getting away with it. I think even with her partner like helping her, like I think I was like, because I was looking at that bit very carefully. I was like, you can clearly see that she breaks character before she steps out of that camera. She should have taken 2 more steps before she went from crying to like that face. Also, my other thing is, who the fuck lets the person walk away from the crime scene? So the cop's got nothing to go on now. He's got fucking shit. But I don't think she's walking away from the crime scene.
I don't think he's there in a formal capacity.
No, he's not. But he's there, like, she's saying go along with it because she's like, as if he's going to have to back it up because the police are on the way. And they've got kind of evidence of that, and they probably have evidence of them both being there. So he's going to have to corroborate with their story. Yeah. But he's got nothing to stand on if he lets them both walk away from a crime scene because she called them and now she's run away. That makes her look guilty as well.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's enough evidence that she'd be fucked.
Yeah.
There'd be like that.
As well.
Add on the fact that, there was still the... I also don't understand why the invisible suit is still in the house.
Well, because she stashed it there. So when
did she stash it?
In one of the wardrobes. You know when she discovers it? She stashes it.
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah.
So she hides.
I was more but at the same time, like this has all gone under major police investigation. The whole house would have been swept.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, you know what I mean? Like this is more. I more mean like none of the tech stuff should have been anywhere left, and obviously even if it's in a cupboard, it's still like it's like when this happens and someone's kidnapped and there's been a major like crime happen within this. They don't just go. So this bit, we've checked that bit.
We found him.
Don't scan the whole house.
We found him, don't worry about
any more technology, any more things, like it would all be. And I know it's overthinking all of that stuff, and I still like it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like I still think that there's not as clever as I think she is trying to be here. I'm not quite sure. Realistically, she's done this cleverly enough to actually get away with it.
No,
without them just looking on the furniture going. Well, that's clearly not his hand. Like that's not enough. That's not his hand slicing. Like his throat is sliced and his hand is like there.
He's resisting that.
He's not trying to. He doesn't look like he wants to die.
That's my own thing. Because apart from that, I think it's a great film.
I still think it's a great concept. Like whether certain parts there are plot holes, but things like that. But these things are hard to not make plot holes. You know, in some ways.
You've got to have plot holes.
You've got to push it's still pushing the reality in many ways, and you've still got to have those phones. And even what I said about like plot armor and stuff like that, there's still there's always plot armor. You know what I mean? Otherwise, Sidney Prescott doesn't survive 7 fucking Scream films.
No, same with doing it.
Yeah. How did he survive 6?
Like,
no, sorry, 5.
Yeah, like there's always got to be plot armor and like minor plot holes, but I don't feel like.
But with this one, it's and also the other thing I like about this is it's taken one of those we talked about, very modern social political kind of thing, but. Not all of them work very well.
No.
Like some of them are too heavy-handed with it. They're too in your face. Like this one plays the idea of something real in society and uses it as a very clever way to tell an Invisible Man story. Now, it doesn't necessarily stay true to the original Invisible Man story in very little way, to be fair. It mainly takes the concept of an invisible man, but apart from that, it leaves behind all of the H.G. Wells story, mainly because he's not created the same way. It's not the same thing. We don't see him in change. We don't see him in like trying to get over it. We don't see the hysterical madman that much, really. He is a madman. He's fucking insane in a different kind of way. He's obsessive like the original kind of one was very obsessive. But generally, it's not the same Invisible Man, but it's a very clever, modern Invisible Man. It's the best of all of the modern adaptation. I'd say we've probably done. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Off the top of my head, I think it's better. It's definitely better than the Lee Cronin's Mummy for a modern stylization. Not really so comparable to the Wolfman one because that was
a bit more straight adaptation.
Remake, but. Yeah, generally I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good performances, really well done. As I said, I mean there's the Invisible Man, but the actor who plays it, Oliver Jackson or whatever it is barely in it.
Yeah, which is an interesting choice.
It is. Yeah. It's a female led kind of one, which is an interesting one. To take the Invisible. Because I actually remember when they announced this and the fact that Elizabeth Moss was it, and everyone's going out of it. So they're not doing Elizabeth, they're doing Invisible Woman. It's going to be her, and it's like no one expected it to be this style that they went with it in this direction. Where again, where you're not following the monster is like Jaws. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Jaws the shark.
Jaws
as
the
we
shark,
know,
of course.
you know, it is that. You know, it's the lingering, looming in the background kind of monster, and it also doesn't allow him, the abuser, to have much time for reasoning. But I also like the fact that he never tries to really truly justify himself, or he tries to just assume that he's going to get like kind of thing, and even at the end when he's acting as if he's all sad and regretful and stuff like that, like it's very much a clear act on his part. You never are made to feel sorry for this guy.
No, which is a classic abuser. You know? I think it's great. Like I said, this is probably the third or fourth time I've watched it. And I went cinema, and then I think when it was shortly released on like a year later, home video, and then I've watched it again since. And when we spoke about doing the modern monster movie season, I thought this would be a really, really good one to do, just because it's a very, like you said, interesting concept. Takes a lot of the idea of an invisible man, but just applies it to something very modern, very interesting. And I feel like the main central element of being a tech bro, I feel like it's become a lot more relevant. When it first came out, it was quite like a new idea, whereas now it just feels like it was quite ahead of its time with like the narcissism, the kind of the control, the feeling that they run the world and that they can just like brush things over with money,
do what they want.
Yeah, very ahead of its time, I think.
Yeah. Very enjoyable film. Well, I'll leave you to finish off.
Okay,
I think I'd already summed up my my beliefs. That I thought it was very enjoyable. It has a few plot holes, but it's mainly very clever film, and it works much better than his other Wolfman.
Yes,
like it just is more altogether. Like I'm interested in if they're going to make many more of these kind of growl, whether we're going to start going back to more like the classic, more monster style kind of thing, because there's a mix of those ideas out there, but I don't know which one's going to go where. So I'm interested as to whether they'll keep going with those, or whether the Wolfman and the Mummy having mixed reactions is going to make them teeter off away from this kind of slightly grounded-ish idea and going back to more classic. You know, because Brendan Fraser's on his way to kick ass.
He's ready. He's here to fuck.
You know, Lee Cronin's Mummy's got nothing now because Brendan Fraser's coming back to return to the Mummy.
So no one cares. I mean, I think that concludes our monster movie season for now. It goes back into the crypt. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a lovely review. We've got plenty of good seasons coming up for you. Come and let us know your thoughts on The Invisible Man. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at CMTH Podcast. Play us out, fellas.